I move with my talk forward, तो आप आगे नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे कैसे जाएंगे? आई मीन शुड आई गिव ए इंडिकेशन बाय फिंगर या ऑटोमेटिकली, या और आई से नेक्स्ट?
सर नेक्स्ट बोल दीजिएगा सर, हम आगे ले जाएंगे सर।
ओके ओके, तो डिस्टर्बेंस सा होगा थोड़ा, नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट कहना पड़ेगा, पर थोड़ा ध्यान रखिएगा, क्योंकि इवन अदरवाइज व्हेन आई मूव विद माय टॉक, तो वो आपको आइडिया हो जाएगा कि मैं नेक्स्ट पे गया हूँ कि नहीं।
जी सर, जी सर, जी सर।
बट इन एनी केस मे बी अगर आप ध्यान रखेंगे तो मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ, अदरवाइज नेक्स्ट।
जी सर, जी सर, जी सर।
सर प्रोफेसर अनिल गुप्ता जी ने हमें ज्वाइन किया था, उन्होंने भी आपके बारे में काफी बताया था कि आप उनके गुरु हैं।
कौन कौन प्रोफेसर?
प्रोफेसर अनिल गुप्ता, ग्रास रूट इनोवेटर्स के फाउंडर।
अनिल गुप्ता, हाँ। उनका कब था? आज था क्या?
सर उनका कल था सर।
कल था, ओके। क्या अनिल गुप्ता हमारे साथ रहे हैं बहुत, मैं उनकी एडवाइजरी बॉडी में भी हूँ।
जी सर। सर आप मेरी मदर जिस कॉलेज में थी सर, उस कॉलेज में वो भी आपसे मिली हैं। वो ओडिशा यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर से पास आउट है।
अच्छा।
जी सर, जब उन्होंने आपका नाम देखा तो वो उन्होंने बहुत सारी बातें बताई आपके बारे में कि सर कैसे आपने अकेले इतनी सारी वैरायटीज निकाली हैं, और आपके नाम पे फॉरेन में लैब से सर हमें लिटरली हमें सर बहुत इंस्पिरेशन मिली सर कि सर आप हमारे साथ।
यू आर द पीपल टू टेक दिस नेशन अहेड। तो अब आप लोग कुछ करिए, और
जी सर
जो है कहते हैं ना कि इंस्पिरेशन लीजिए, और कुछ अपने विलिंगनेस से, डिटर्मिनेशन से कुछ नया कीजिए, हैं?
जी सर।
सर ऋषभ ने भी आप ही से इंस्पायर होके वो उसने काउ डंग के प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करना स्टार्ट किया है। उसके दादाजी ने आपके बारे में बहुत बताया, तो अभी वो काउ डंग में कलर डाल के और उससे फर्टिलाइजर बना रहा है, इको फ्रेंडली पूरा। सर वो भी ज्वाइन करना चाहता था, पर अभी उसके यहाँ पे नेटवर्क नहीं है, तो वो लाइव हमें देखेगा सारे लोगों के साथ में, सब लोग देखेंगे, पर अभी ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाएगा सर वो।
तो आप इसको YouTube पे भी डाल रहे हैं क्या?
हाँ सर, हम इसको YouTube पे डालेंगे, Facebook पे ये लाइव चलेगा, उसके अलावा 2-3 इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म पे लाइव जाएगा।
ओके, गुड। तो well, I am currently in my village because of lockdown. From Delhi, I came down last month and staying to be away and be in open air and all. So today I am speaking from my village home.
सर बोले बहुत ज्यादा ऑनर की बात है सर, आपने हमें ज्वाइन किया लिटरली। मतलब सर जिस भी गेस्ट को पता चला ना कि आप आ रहे हैं, तो सारे के सारे गेस्ट बोले कि बड़ौदा जी आ रहे हैं सर। प्रोफेसर गुप्ता ने अलग से बोला, मिट्टी कूल के फाउंडर जो हैं उन्होंने भी बोला, सबने बोला सर।
Well, वो सभी के साथ काम किया है भैया उनके, they are all good old colleagues. Anil Gupta started his PhD program in my university, then he went to IIM Ahmedabad.
जी सर।
तो बहुत पुराने साथी रहे हैं। तो अच्छे स्पीकर्स अच्छे रहे, अच्छे लेक्चर रहे आपको?
सर अभी तक एकदम जबरदस्त रहा सर, एकदम अच्छे से रहा। तो सर ये प्रोग्राम हमने 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया था। पहला के लोग जैसे लोगों को इंस्पायर करेंगे, ऐसे लोग आएंगे वो इंस्पायर करेंगे। दूसरे पार्ट में वो लोग अपने आइडिया सबमिशन कर सकते हैं, अपने प्रोजेक्ट। हमारे पास काफी सारे इंक्यूबेटर्स हैं, काफी सारे पार्टनर्स हैं जो उनको डायरेक्टली सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। जैसे प्रोफेसर अनिल गुप्ता का जो हनीबी नेटवर्क है, वो यहाँ से लगभग 30 से 50 इनोवेटर्स को सपोर्ट करेगा, जो काफी अच्छे होंगे। तो ऑल ओवर इंडिया से हमारे पास काफी सारी एंट्रीज आई, अलग अलग स्टेट से। कुछ ग्रास रूट इनोवेटर्स एग्रीकल्चर से भी काफी सारी आई है।
तो अच्छा, पार्टिसिपेंट्स कौन लोग हैं आपके इसमें?
सर पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और यंग इनोवेटर्स, जो लोग कुछ करना चाहते हैं।
तो कितने लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं?
तो सर हमारे पास तो सर हमारे पास ऑल ओवर इंडिया से गूगल फॉर्म्स में 50,000 प्लस एंट्रीज आई चारों तरफ से। अब वही लोग अलग अलग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे देखेंगे।
अच्छा,
हाँ जी,
quite large नंबर।
सर पूरा का पूरा 1 महीने के अंदर ही सर सब किया है, मतलब टाइम काफी कम।
वेरी गुड। तो ये मतलब पहला इनिशिएटिव है या पहले भी किया हुआ है?
सर ये इस टाइप का पहला इनिशिएटिव है, पर ऋषभ भाई के साथ मिलके हम लोगों ने अब से 1 साल पहले, सर मैं गौतम बुद्ध नगर से हूँ, जेवर नोएडा के पास से, अलीगढ़ के पास मेरा गांव है, वहाँ पे ना एक भगवान कृष्ण का मेला लगता है। तो उस मेले के अंदर हमने एक इनिशिएटिव स्टार्ट किया था जिसका नाम है खोज कुंभ, कि मेले के अंदर एक साइंस की एग्जीबिशन कराना, वहाँ के बच्चे वहाँ की प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन दें और वहाँ की अथॉरिटीज उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करें। तो ऋषभ भाई के साथ मिलकर हमारी पूरी टीम ने साथ में काम किया था और काफी सक्सेसफुल रहा वो। वहाँ से काफी सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और इनोवेटर्स निकले, उसी से इंस्पायर होकर हम सब लोग ने मिलकर फिर ये लॉन्च किया और ये पूरा वर्चुअली है सर।
और सर क्योंकि मैं इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करने जा रहा था अपने एक एनिमल हस्बेंड्री रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट के लिए जा रहा था मैं इंटरनेशनल साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग फेयर में डीएसटी की तरफ से रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए, जो कि सर लॉकडाउन की वजह से सर कैंसिल हो गया। सर तो वो चीज वर्चुअली हुआ। जब सर वो चीज वर्चुअली हुआ और सर मैंने ऋषभ भैया और इनके इनिशिएटिव के बारे में पहले से मैं सर इनसे मैं 1 साल से ज्यादा से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, तो मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना हम सब लोग मिलके एक चीज करें वर्चुअली, हमारे देश के अंदर हमारे जो यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं उनको सपोर्ट करने के लिए, उनको एक जगह दिलाने के लिए, प्लेटफॉर्म दिलाने के लिए सर हमने इसको प्लान किया सर।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। तो
ऋषभ भाई ने भी आपको अभी ज्वाइन किया है, पता नहीं कहाँ पे गया होगा, इसके यहाँ पे नेटवर्क बिल्कुल नहीं आते।
वो उनका क्या स्पेशलाइजेशन है
सर?
आरपी सिंह जी का क्या स्पेशलाइजेशन है?
ऋषभ भाई आपके बारे में पूछ रहे हैं।
हाँ नहीं पूछ तो रहे हैं।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार, कैसे हैं
सर? मैं सर बढ़िया सर, अभी मैं इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा हूँ, इस साल मैं 4th ईयर में आया हूँ बीटेक में, मैकेनिकल से।
आरपी सिंह जी ने आपके बारे में काफी कुछ कहा, तो आई वाज हैप्पी। कीप इट अप। गुड
सर, अभी गांव आया हुआ था तो यहाँ नेटवर्क का बहुत प्रॉब्लम रहता है, तो मुझे अभी आउट आके बैठना पड़ रहा है, तो ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहा था, इसलिए मैं।
अच्छा ओके, मैं भी गांव से ही बोल रहा हूँ।
ओके सर। राजस्थान है सर क्या आप अभी?
हैं?
अभी राजस्थान में है क्या सर आप अभी?
हाँ, मैं अपने गांव अजमेर के पास, माय विलेज इज सराधना, आई एम स्पीकिंग फ्रॉम।
देखा मैंने सर आपका यूट्यूब पर गांव वगैरह का पूरा घर वगैरह भी।
ओके ओके, हाँ हाँ, इट्स ओपन एयर, बेटर लॉकडाउन में, बेटर देन टू बी इन दिल्ली, सो अवे फ्रॉम many of those cases which are happening। तो अच्छा रहा आपका अब तक ये प्रोग्राम, ठीक चल रहा है?
सर बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, आपका सबका आशीर्वाद है, अच्छा जा रहा है अभी तक।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। तो आज कितने लोग और हैं अभी स्पीकर्स हैं?
सर अभी हाँ सर, आज टोटल अभी आपसे पहले जो मिट्टी कूल के फाउंडर हैं गुजरात से, वो आए थे, और उनके बाद अभी आपका हुआ, और आपके बाद भी कुछ स्पीकर्स होंगे। अभी आदित्य बोस जो हमारे मॉडरेटर हैं, इन्होंने आपको ज्वाइन किया है, यही आपके साथ आगे जाएंगे सर।
और आप दोनों क्या कर रहे हो भाई, कुछ
सर
बताओ।
मैं तो अभी सर 12th क्लास में हूँ।
गुड।
और सर पिछले साल मुझे राष्ट्रपति जी से प्रधानमंत्री बाल पुरस्कार मिला था इनोवेशन के फील्ड में।
गुड, कीप इट अप।
थैंक यू सर। और मेरा सारा इनोवेशन जो है वो एग्रो बेस की चीजों पे ही है, माइक्रोबायोलॉजी और एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड पे ही है सर।
सर यू मस्ट लुक एट आवर वेबसाइट ऑफ टास्क।
जी सर।
जो मेरी है, तो वहाँ हम काफी कुछ कर रहे हैं।
जी सर।
ऑन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एंड एनकरेजिंग and motivating youth in agriculture. Okay.
जी सर।
I'm going to talk something about it today. और आप क्या कर रहे हो भैया?
सर मेरा एक छोटा सा स्टार्टअप है। हम लोग क्या करते हैं, जो मंदिर से जो कचरा निकलता है ना, जो नदियों में जाता है, उस कचरे को मंदिर से उठाते हैं। अभी हम लोग 150 के करीब मंदिर कवर कर रहे हैं दिल्ली एनसीआर से। उस कचरे को उठा के रिफाइन करके जेल में भेजते हैं। जेल में हम लगभग 45 कैदियों को रोजगार दे रहे हैं। वो लोग क्या करते हैं, उस कचरे से प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट करते हैं, कचरे से वाव प्रोडक्ट्स बनाते हैं, और उन प्रोडक्ट को हम फिर बाजार में बेचते हैं और एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं इंडिया से। तो अभी कुल मिला के हम लोग 150 से ऊपर मंदिर कवर कर रहे हैं, और 45 से ऊपर जेल के जो कैदी हैं उनको रोजगार दे रहे हैं।
ग्रेट, वेरी गुड। ट्राई टू बी इनोवेटिव लाइक दिस। या
जी सर, जी सर, वी विल डेफिनेटली ट्राई सर। सर आपने हमारे लिए स्टैंडर्ड्स गोल्स बहुत हाई सेट कर दिए हैं,
बहुत ज्यादा हाई कर
दिए हैं सर। हम डेफिनेटली उसके आसपास पहुंचने का ट्राई करेंगे।
भी गांव से निकले हैं और हमें भी कोई बताने वाला नहीं था, पर करने की हिम्मत हो तो सब कुछ पॉसिबल है।
जी सर।
और कुछ नया करने की कोशिश कीजिए।
जी सर। सर आदित्य बोस ने आपको ज्वाइन कर लिया है, बोस जी ने। सर
नमस्ते सर।
वो आपके साथ पूरी तरह
हेलो,
से
नमस्कार
इंटरेक्ट
जी।
करेंगे थ्रू आउट। जी
अच्छा,
सर।
ओके आदित्य जी, नमस्ते
मेरा
भैया।
नाम आदित्य है। मेरा एक स्टार्टअप है प्रोबनो नाम का, जिसमें हम हाई स्कूल और कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स को करियर गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं कि वो आगे जाकर कौन से करियर को परस्यू कर सकते हैं।
ओके, गुड गुड, वेरी नाइस,
रियली एक्साइटेड टू लर्न फ्रॉम यू।
प्लेजर मीटिंग यू।
सो आकाश, when will we go live?
सर हम लाइव हो जाएंगे सर, लगभग सर हम लाइव हैं। हाँ जी,
ओके, so we can start or what? How do you?
9-1 go.
Yeah, please start.
I start, is it?
So I'll start, I think. So hi everyone, whoever is watching live, thank you so much for joining in. आप सभी का स्वागत है उद्यमी उत्सव के एक और अमेजिंग लाइव सेशन में। और आज हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही स्पेशल गेस्ट है दोस्तों। तो पहले तो मैं खुद को इंट्रोड्यूस कर देता हूँ। मेरा नाम है आदित्य बोस और आज का मैं आपका होस्ट हूँ। और हमारे साथ जो गेस्ट जुड़े हैं उनका इंट्रोडक्शन अगर मैं पूरा बताऊं तो फिर आई थिंक 15 से 20 मिनट मुझे उसमें लगेंगे। तो मैं एक छोटा सा बताता हूँ कि डॉक्टर राजेंद्र सिंह परोड़ा एक एग्रीकल्चरल साइंटिस्ट है, बहुत ही अकम्प्लिश्ड एग्रीकल्चरल साइंटिस्ट है। ही हैज बीन द एक्स सर्विंग प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द ICAR, प्लस उन्होंने इंडियन साइंस कांग्रेस को हेड भी किया है और he has also been the president of National Association of Agricultural Sciences. So I think we have a great thing set up here. Let's introduce Rajendra sir. Rajendra sir, thank you so much for being with us here and welcome to you.
Well, thank you very much. It's a matter of great pleasure to participate in your Udyami Utsav program that many of you, along with RP Singh, have initiated. It's very encouraging, and I would like to wish you all the success in future. I'm going to talk today about future prospects for youth in agriculture, because many among those who are participating must be from rural areas and must be associated either directly or indirectly with agriculture as a profession. So I would like to just, could we start with the slides, please? If our colleagues can help those, then we would like to start with the context of my discussion today, which is second slide, that India has done well over the last 50 years since we had our independence in mid-60s. At that time, we were considered begging bowl, and from that level, when the food security was ship to mouth, which means which ship was landing on which port and in which part of the country food was being distributed, was the kind of food security we had at that time. Since then, things have changed. We had the Green Revolution. Thanks to, again, efforts of our scientists, efforts of farmers, support of policymakers, and international partnership, that we could achieve not only the food self-sufficiency, but also started exporting a major chunk of agriculture produce to foreign countries. And today, India is one of the leading agriculture country, exporting worth about $40 billion per annum. We have had green, white, and blue revolutions, despite the fact that 80% of our farmers are smallholders who don't have more than 2 hectares of land. When we look at the successes, it is unprecedented in the context of as against increase in our population by fourfold, from 33 million people, 33 crores people at that time. Now we are more than 1.39 billion, which means fourfold. But against this, we could increase our food production by sixfold. So our food production has gone up. We have more than almost 50 million tons of buffer stock today, which we have been keeping almost every year. So at one time we were importing almost 10 million tons of food, and we didn't have money to buy that food at that time. When I was doing my PhD at Indian Agriculture Research Institute, you can imagine from there to a level of such a security where our nation is today a leading nation, where we have Food Security Act providing cheaper food to more than 60% of the people. Nowhere you will find this kind of example. So the successes are tremendous. We have also increased horticulture production. It is more than even food grain production today. And above all, we have increased because of good food as well as good health care, which is also possible over the last 60 years or so, that we could double our life expectancy from 32 years when we were independent to now 68 years. Then when we see the next slide, you will see that, next one please, that our production of major crops has gone. Next one. Can you change to the next slide? The production of major food crops has gone up, and we have had record production this time. Next one, please. Next slide. So we have record production and record production for food grains, for rice, for wheat, for also maize. We also had record production this year for oil seeds and also for cotton. And in that context, when we look at the other revolutions, not only in food through green, but for milk, we have been able to have tenfold increase in our milk production since 1950. Also in case of horticulture, since 1990, over the last 30 years, we have tripled this production. And in case of fish production, we were not producing more than even 1 million ton. Now we are more than 12 million ton, which means 12 times. So these are all unprecedented, successes. And India's position today globally is ranking number 2, number 1, number 3 for most of the food crops like rice, wheat, pulses, rapeseed mustard, groundnut, fruits, vegetables, sugarcane, even milk. So in milk we are number 1. In sugarcane we are number 2 after Brazil. And today we have more than 4 million tons of sugar in our buffer stock, which we are not able to consume and also export because we are finding that our cost of cultivation is higher than the international cost for cultivation for sugarcane elsewhere. So we have to make our agriculture also more efficient and competitive. But the good part is that we are able to meet our own requirements and demand. And fortunately, internal market in India is also robust. We are not like Brazil, Argentina, and Australia, where more than 60 to 70% of their produce they have to export, without which they will not survive. But in our country, we are able to consume invariably more than 80 to 85% of what we are producing. So the things have moved, and when we go to the next slide, you will see that capital investment has been quite significant. Thanks again to the policy support. The first Prime Minister has said everything else can wait, but not agriculture. And that's how, despite there is no increase in the arable land for the last almost 5 decades, since 1970, it is same area, 140 million hectares for cultivation. But now we have got increased intensity of cropping, so that we could increase production from 140 million hectare, we could go for cropping intensity to the level of almost 200 million hectare. Net irrigated area, which was not even 30 million hectare by 70. Now we have got almost 70 million hectare area brought under irrigation, which is amazing. The highest dam in the world, the longest canals have been built. Gross irrigated area also has increased almost by threefold, and high-yielding varieties which started with Green Revolution time, now we have coverage of the improved varieties of all crops and horticultural fruit crops and vegetables to the level of 60 to 70%. For fertilizer use, thanks again to the leaders creating the biggest cooperative sector fertilizer plants like IFCO, CRIPCO. Today from 2 million hectare, 2 million tons, now we are producing almost roughly 27 to 30 million tons and meeting 80 to 85% of our demand internally. Now, when we see all this which has happened is a quite encouraging scenario. But then young generation is also now facing with the current challenges. And next slide tells that despite these revolutions for food grains, for milk through white and fish through blue revolution, we see that there are still challenges. Challenges like sustainable development goals. Our country is committed to meet these sustainable development goals by 2030. I will talk about these in my next slide. And there are issues relating to the farmers' income. The youth is not getting interested in agriculture, wanting to go to urban areas, look for other jobs, but not find agriculture lucrative, and therefore this is a matter of great concern. Second generation problems of green revolution have emerged, and these are that the productivity decline has started. By adding more of fertilizer, we are not getting increase in yield as we used to get before, because soil health has been affected adversely, water table is going down, macronutrient imbalance is taking place, like if it is nitrogen application, then phosphorus is not in a balanced way, and micronutrient deficiency is emerging. More diseases and pests are also being faced. Like recently we had locust and the army pollen in case of maize, which we had last 2 years, and the labor cost is increasing. We also see that there is a kind of complacency among people. People think that, oh, we have produced enough, so there is probably no need further, and we can all go back to organic farming, old practices of agriculture, and live with our past traditions. In that respect, when we look at the next slide, even in the economic survey, over the last 2 years, Government of India has started realizing that probably green revolution was an over-exploitative and non-sustainable approach, because we had mainly diverted towards cereal-based cropping system, wheat and rice, rice and wheat, or maize and wheat, or rice and wheat, and so on. And therefore, there is a concern that we need to change these cropping systems. We have to take care of our natural resources, see that we save water, we improve the health of our soil, and we use less of chemicals. The labor-intensive agriculture is, and we have to therefore think of other ways by which there can be more sustainable production, and the dependence on government subsidy and minimum support price has also increased. So how to reduce it by going for other options is therefore an important challenge. Next one. So as I said to you before, that Sustainable Development Goals is that we want to see that by 2030 there is no poverty, which means there should not be any person going to bed hungry, and there should not be any hungry person. So poverty and no hunger, goal 1 and 2 are the major goals which are associated with agriculture to a greater extent. And still we have poverty, which used to be 70% when we became independent, is now around 20%. But this 20% also has to be reduced. China had more poverty than us at the same time, but now their poverty levels are less than 10%. Like we have in Punjab, less than 10% poverty, but states like Bihar, Orissa, West Bengal still have higher poverty levels. So we have to think of providing economic options to the people to increase their income, and also see that the food is available to them at a reasonable cost. Besides that, there are many other challenges, climate change. We have to produce more, not from only above the land, but below the land, which means below the water, which means fish production, also aquatic weeds, and so on. So there are various challenges that are before us, besides the good education, gender balance, encouraging youth, and industrial development, and then partnership at the national, regional, and global level. So let's now then see what we can do. When we have these challenges, next slide, you will see that हम सुनते आ रहे हैं जब से खेती में रहे, और जब से मैं अपने घर पे खेती में पार्ट लेता था, और एग्रीकल्चर जब मैंने प्रोफेशन अपना चुना, तो सारे मेरे साथी मुझ पे हंसे और बोले कि अच्छे स्टूडेंट्स तो सब इंजीनियर या मेडिकल में जाते हैं, आप एग्रीकल्चर में क्या करोगे? तो आई देन थॉट कि आई विल प्रोबेबली डू एग्रीकल्चर इन अ बेटर वे एंड कंटिन्यू एट माय ओन फार्म. तो कहते तो हम ये आए कि भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश है. अभी भी 60% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन इज डिपेंडेंट अराउंड एग्रीकल्चर, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली. पर हमने कृषक को प्रधान अभी तक नहीं बनाया, और ये एक बड़ा चैलेंज है कि वी ट्राई टू मेक फार्मर फर्स्ट इन एग्रीकल्चर, and that can only be done when there is different kind of agriculture, there is new agriculture, there is new breed of agriculturists, young youth, whether women or young boys, they start embracing agriculture as their profession. So in that context, next one, when you see youth and agriculture, when we look at globally, youth population is around 20%. And India has fortunately more youth even compared to China today, though China population is higher than us, because they have gone for one child per family policy. So youth population is relatively less, and our youth population is almost 356 million, of which 200 million live in rural areas alone, which means these 200 million rural youth is our great strength and power. If utilized properly, we can change the scenario completely before rest of the world. So India's population is expected to also remain young. That's another better scenario. Our average age is population, Indian population average age is 30 years, as against 40 in USA, 46 in Europe, and 47 in Europe, Japan. But agriculture population, our age is increasing because youth is not attracted and not inclined to embrace agriculture as their profession. In that context, now we have to see that what we can do. Next one. So when we look at challenges before youth, there is challenge before youth is especially for those in rural areas, they have lack of access to good knowledge. It's not that you have to have knowledge only for a degree, a formal degree from the university. Knowledge is required for any entrepreneurship when we want to undertake it. And that access is not to the level required, and therefore there is not much of institutional backup. There is also less access to land. Farmers have small holding. Financial resources are limited. Generally, we have to take credit, and farmers are not economically so sound to help the youth to take any risk. Difficulties in linking to market. We are being exploited in agriculture by middlemen to a greater extent. So neither consumer is benefited nor the producer is benefited. And there is no voice of youth in decision making. And above all, the social image of agriculture is not all that better in the mind of these people. And because of the lack of infrastructure facilities in rural areas. And there is also aspirational attainment gap. People want to aspire, but then when they want to work and try to achieve, then that attainment is not to that level. So that gap is affecting them, where they need handholding, mentorship, and funding support. So we then go for why agriculture. Next one. I would say agriculture is a noble profession. Not that I have taken it, but even Dr. Abdul Kalam, when I took him to see the gene bank which we built in Delhi, he said that agriculture is definitely a noble profession than the profession that I have been engaged in, because that profession leads to destruction of the people and of the system. But here is a profession which is creative and which feeds and which provides food and nutrition security for all of us. So there is an opportunity through agriculture to not only serve yourself, but to serve the society, which is not in many other kind of professions. Ensure food, nutrition, and environmental security. Now we want environment to be better. COVID-19 has given this lesson very clearly that probably we have been over-exploiting the natural resources, and we have to conserve them, and maybe we have to live with less than what we had been doing in the past. And we have to increase income of resource poor farmers. Next, please. So it helps majority of the people for increasing their livelihood. Here, this is a kind of, Maya. Maya is coined by us in TAS, where we have said that you can't attract youth in agriculture unless you motivate them. And motivation is not an easy task. They have to be really benefited. They have to be given confidence. They have to be given knowledge. They have to also be nurtured to get motivated and be successful. Then they would come in agriculture and do something more for you. So Maya is now a movement, and this movement has to be nurtured by all through various ways. And this is my subject of today's talk to you. Next one. For Maya, what is required? The way forward is that we must think globally, but act locally. So we must have knowledge what is happening all over the world, not only right in one state or in the country, but what are the successes elsewhere, and why can't we be successful in our own local situation? And if we don't act locally, we want. So next one. When you want to go for doing something, any youth would like to say, I want to do something different, not traditional agriculture in which my parents and forefathers have been engaged and not been able to make much. So you need diversification. You need to make agriculture more lucrative and income oriented through secondary agriculture, so that you earn more than what you are earning only from crop or cropping systems. Then specialty agriculture, uh, going in for mushroom or going in for production of honey bee or honey and so on, and going in for specialty agriculture like verticulture, vertical horticulture, or going in for urban agriculture. And then besides production, there is also now the issue of post-production management, so that whatever you produce is not wasted and utilized through value addition, and more income is generated. Next one. So in that context, when we go further, we see that uh, what is needed is increase crop yields and income, improve soil health. I will tell about this. Use water, like stop flooding, uh, improving soil health by having balanced use of fertilizers or going for organic matter incorporation, and then farm mechanization for timely operation, good agronomic practices, diversification I have already mentioned, and then post-harvest processing and value addition. Next one. So in this respect, we see that for youth, something has to be done. How can you expect Maya to be a reality unless you encourage youth and recognize their strength and give them some incentives and rewards? And in that respect, the first global conference on youth was organized in Delhi when I was chairing the Global Forum on Agriculture Research, which is based in FAO Rome. And there we said that it is not only by telling youth are important, but something tangible must be done for youth. And therefore we established an international forum for youth professionals in agriculture for future progress, which we called YPOD. It is now a part of GFAR program, and then the importance of youth was further debated and discussed in two global conferences organized internationally, one in France in 2010 and the other one is in Uruguay in 2012, where more than 150 to 200 out of 700 to 800 people were only youth, supported by international donors, because they felt that this was an area which certainly required discussion and future roadmap. We also organized the regional workshop. One for the Asia Pacific was organized in Islamabad in 2013. Next one. And you see here this GFAR and the YPOD logo below. So the youth are now a part of agriculture research for development agenda. Next, please. Next. Then we took the national initiative. National initiatives were at the national level. We had conference. A number of conferences have taken place. Those who are interested can go ahead, go and see our TAS website. There are many reports and recommendations available. We came out with the ARIA program after the national conference that was organized in Delhi in 2013. ARIA is attracting rural youth in agriculture. And then regional conference on Maya was in 2018 organized, inaugurated by the then agriculture minister. And then we realized that this has to be a consistent effort at all regional level, and therefore in Hyderabad and also in Punjab, in Ludhiana, the 2 regional conferences on Mayawar later on, organized where more than 700 to 800 youth participated and came up with their own ideas, innovative ideas for doing better and something different than what otherwise being done elsewhere. Then next one, there are several government initiatives. I don't have more time to go into these, but you can certainly look at the websites of these ministries. There is the ARIA program I talked. There was a Ravi program which I started when I was in ICR, Rural Agriculture Work Experience for the students in final year, supported by ICR in all universities, is now further being strengthened through Student Ready program and Startup India, Stand Up India, National Skill Development Mission. Next, please. So there are initiatives, Make in India, Skill India Mission, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, and PM Yuva. So there are various initiatives of these through which one can think of taking up entrepreneurship through skill development and support that is available, including support for credit through NABARD. And one can, so next one, these are the publications, lot of publications of all these meetings, global, regional, and also national, talking about farmer-led innovation. And when we organize national dialogue on farmer-led innovation, I can tell you it was eye-opening. Many of these were not agriculture graduates, but had been very successful in agriculture because of their own initiative, because they took risks, and because they were determined to be successful. And they went abroad, they got all the best knowledge, also the best technology, and today they are hiring hundreds of people and helping the community all around through their initiative. Next one. So the future roadmap. What can be the future roadmap? First thing is that we need not consider youth only again as a farmer. As I told you earlier, farmer first. So farmer even has to be made professor if he is successful in any particular area which he has excelled. He can teach better, he can convince other farmers better, and he can provide good knowledge and practical knowledge so that others don't fail. So youth, not as a farmer, but youth as a value chain developer. He must add value to whatever he does. And in agriculture also we need value added to any of the operations and entrepreneurship. So this is one aspect. The second is the government must provide enabling environment for investment, for soft credit, provision of subsidy to entrepreneurs, easy market linkages, land, water, and market reforms, tax exemption for rural-based primary value addition. If an entrepreneur is just making, say, puri out of tomato rather than ketchup, and able to have better opportunities for farmer to sell it for a longer period without distress sale, then that should be exempted from any kind of tax which otherwise is imposed on value additions. The private sector to help create an agri-youth innovation corpus fund so that these youngsters are able to get benefited and have easy credit and soft loans. Next one. And next one. And then you see that we have made a recommendation to the government, previous one, please, that there should be even Department of Youth in Agriculture. Why not, when Ministry of Agriculture has been now named as Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare? It is not only agriculture, but it is farmers' welfare. Then farmers' welfare is only going to be mainly in future through youth. So why not a department in the Ministry for Youth? Why not a mission on youth in agriculture? And why not we help create agri-service centers which are providing custom hire services for farm mechanization and value addition operations and processing, etc. In my village, everybody used to cultivate their field through bullocks before when I was young. Now I don't see bullocks being used for plowing the field. Now few youngsters have the tractor. You just telephone and tell them. Next day they come and do sowing for you at right time with precision and with right quantity of seed and right distance between rows. And that's the kind of custom hire services are needed now for all kinds of operations. And that's where youth can be of great service. Encourage youth to get involved also in electronic national marketing system which has been initiated so that they can link farmer to market. They can help farmers to become farmer producer organization. They can also encourage farmer to be agribusiness entrepreneurs. So there are several of these roadmaps that are there which can be pursued to be more successful in future. Next one. So I would like to say that motivating and attracting youth in agriculture is not to be job seeker, but to be a job creator, to be a youth, including women, to be an extension agent, not free extension, but paid extension, so that they are able to earn and also farmer is able to get best possible services and knowledge. Youth as input provider, they should provide good quality inputs and at farmers' doorstep. Youth as entrepreneur to produce, whether it is say vermicompost or whether it is biofertilizer, whether it is biopesticide and whatnot. I mean, the sky's the limit there. So we next one, we have to see that whether there is a possibility of success and in which areas that success is possible. Are there innovation? And where you want to become entrepreneur, you must look at innovation. Innovation which is disruptive. Innovation by which you can help more, produce more with less. So using less of input, producing more, like, you know, smartphone now today is equally accessible for knowledge sharing to even a farmer in the field or to a CEO in his own office running his own empire. So this is the kind of technology which can benefit not one but all. So more from less is the basis of all these successes in future. Next one. So what are scaling innovations? There are many possibilities. Briefly, seed production, hybrid seeds, biotechnology. There are a lot of biotechnological approaches. Even tissue culture, banana. Now India has become #1 banana producing country in the world. And today tissue culture banana is becoming a standard practice. But how many entrepreneurs are there to provide this easily at the farmer's doorstep in all states, other than those of which are more successful like Maharashtra or Karnataka or Gujarat and so on. Conservation agriculture. Why should we cultivate land in dryland area, which is still 60%? Why not we go in for conservation agriculture? I'll show you some slides on the protected cultivation, micro irrigation, bioenergy, biofuel production. Why not like US and Brazil? We use sugarcane also or maize for biofuel production and increase farmers' income when we have already enough for our own use. Can we not divert 20% of that production and make more money? Similarly, biofortified crop for better nutrition to our people when there is problem of children which are malnourished and which are suffering from nutrient deficiency. Why not have biofortified crop or ICT for knowledge empowerment? Fortunately, India has done well in the ICT field. Next one. So there are various options. Young friends, I would like to tell you whether you want to go for good quality seed production, certified nursery for quality plants. I am now myself a farmer, arid horticulture. I have adopted with less area and less water. But I tell you, major concern is availability of good quality planting material of any of those fruits in which you are interested. And therefore, we should have certified nurseries for quality plants, knowledge sharing through ICT. I will tell you about it again. And paid extension, I talked earlier, quality input supply, farm mechanization through custom hire centers. Even now, the farmers are there, even on my own farm, you can switch on and switch off the tube well when you want to be irrigated your fields through your own smartphone. And there are people in the village who can come and install these apps on your phone. What more can be done? So there is, sky is the limit if one wants to really do something. Post-harvest processing, value addition, great scope, micro irrigation. There is tremendous potential still. Contract farming, farmer producer organization. In dairy, they have come up, but why not in other areas? Protected cultivation, conservation agriculture, even accredited laboratories for soil test and water test analysis, organic produce. Tomorrow, if farmers produce organic food, they need this to be certified. And where are the labs for testing those? And who can provide this? Seed quality testing, biofertilizer testing, biopesticide testing, inland fishery, supply of the fish seed, flower production, and even including seed production of flowering plants are all new options that one can do. Now, next one, the BT cotton is a success story. Again, time is short. I would just say that we were importing country for cotton. Now we have become a major exporter after BT cotton was brought in, and we have reduced our pesticide consumption by 40%. Earlier, 50% of total agriculture pesticide was used in cotton alone. So there are approaches, and we are a major exporter of cotton in the world today. Next one, when you go in for conservation agriculture, you find that the conservation agriculture area so far is only about 5 million hectares, that too in rice wheat areas. But in dryland areas, we have not covered much, whereas the sky is the limit, because 50 to 60% area is still rain-fed. And why should we cultivate fields when we can directly sow after rice, wheat, or after wheat we can directly sow moong bean and then go for rice production. And in that respect, next one, the micro irrigation. Even crops like with the technologies that are available, whether sugarcane or whether it is cotton, of course, all fruit crops, vegetables, including now rice, through subsurface drip system. But the technology for this has to be made available to the farmer at affordable cost or through subsidy by the government, because water which farmer is going to save is the saving for the nation, not for him alone. And there will be more production for the nation than only farmer alone. So we have to stop flood irrigation. We have to encourage micro irrigation, whether drip or a sprinkler system, and this will also help in increasing production and saving water and also energy and nutrients. Nutrient use efficiency will also increase. Next one. Why should we broadcast the fertilizers, which is still a common practice? As you see below, the farmer is very happy broadcasting the urea in the field. Why not he uses the equipment by which he can test what is required to be applied? If it is the sulfur that is needed, or if it is the phosphorus that is needed, why should you only provide urea or nitrogen? So we need to go in for precision farming system, and for that this knowledge can be provided to the farmer by youth, not farmers themselves can really understand it unless they are demonstrated and convinced. Next one. Protected cultivation. Again, with a small area, production can be increased manifold around cities and can be linked with good quality produce with the market, with the hotels, and with the supermarkets and whatnot. And the young entrepreneur adopting protected cultivation can earn manifold with just 1,000 square feet protected cultivation area. There are young entrepreneurs who are now earning more than 5 to 6